If I were an investor or planning my production for 2026, this is where I will put my money. Right now, if you were looking at the news in Ghana, you are probably seeing it. The global food system isn't just under pressure, it's cracking. We have seen fuel prices hit level that makes transporting a bag of maize from Techima to Accra feel like a luxury. We have seen fertilizer costs become a guessing game. And just this month, March of 2026, we saw the ultimate move. Burkina Faso has officially suspended all fresh tomato exports. If you are a farmer or if you have been sitting on land waiting for the right time, this is it. But this is not the right time to try your luck. This is not the time to plant what your neighbor is planting just because you saw them harvesting last year. In 2026, the average farmer is going to struggle, I tell you. But the strategic farmer, the one that understands why a border closing in Sahel is actually a massive opportunity in the Volta region or the Ashanti region, that farmer is going to get rich. So today, I'm giving you the blueprint. If I had 10 acres and 100,000 cities today, this is exactly where I will put my money. Let's talk about what happened. On March of 16th, the Burkinabe government signed a communique. They didn't just stop export because they were short on food. No, they did it because they built factories. They want the value add. They want to sell tomato paste, not raw tomatoes. For years, Ghana has been the tomato ATM for Burkina Faso. We send our CDs across border, and they send us crates. But that door just slammed shut. What does that mean to you, the farmer, or an average Ghanaian? The lean season is now a crisis season. Usually between March and June, local supply is low. Now, with the ban, that low is going to be a vacuum. The shortage surge. Markets in Kumasi, Techiman, Makola, and many others have already started feeling the heat. Prices are spiking right now. Again, this presents an opportunity. For the first time in decades, the Ghanaian tomato farmer doesn't have to compete with subsidized Burkina produce. The floor is yours if you know how to step on it. When deciding on what to produce, most farmers in Ghana ask, what crops gives the highest yield? They focus on the plant, they focus on the soil. But smart farmers in 2026, they ask what crops benefit most when the system is under pressure. Agriculture in 2026 is 30% biology and 70% logistics. If you can't get it to the market, or if you harvest when everyone else is harvesting, you are just a hobbyist. You are not a businessman. We need to move away from rain-fed gambling. If you are waiting for the clouds to tell you when to plant, you have already lost in 2026. Water control is financial control. If I had to choose one crop to start with today, it is not tomato, it is pepper, specifically Papushito, or what we call the Scottish bonnet or the bird's eye habanero. Yes, my logic. I call it the flavor rule. In a typical Ghanaian kitchen, when the price of tomato hits 1,000 cedis a crate, what do Ghanaians do? They buy fewer tomato, but they do not stop eating. No, they substitute. They use more pepper, more onion, a little bit of tomato paste, or to get the flavor. That's resilient. Pepper is tough. It handles the heat better than tomato. It is less likely to turn into mush in the back of your truck on a 6-hour journey from North to Accra. Quick to flip your money. You can start harvesting some varieties in 2.5 to 3 months. In a volatile economy, you want your money back fast. My play, the pepper as your gasoline. It keeps the cash flowing so you can afford the bigger, riskier bets. My next pick is tomato. I call it the battlefield. Now let's get to the battlefield. With Burkina Faso out of the game, the price of a crate in Accra could double or triple by May or June. But listen to me. Don't go and clear land and plant tomato today just because you heard me. If you do that, you will harvest in June, July. When southern rain bring everyone else crops to market, prices will crash and you will lose. You will be crying on news. The government should do this, government should support, and you will lose. You need to be strategic. Irrigation is non-negotiable. You must be able to plant in the off-season. If you are harvesting in April, May, that's the peak of the shortage. You aren't just selling vegetables. You are selling gold. Stop using the safe seeds. You need hybrids and high yielding seeds. In 2026, with this high heat waves, you need hybrid seeds like Cobra, the Jaguars that can survive 38 degrees Celsius afternoons in the south or the north. Stop using safe seeds. Also, you need the early exit plan. Don't wait for the tomato to be perfectly red and soft. Harvest at the baker stage, that's slightly yellow or pink. It gives you an extra 5 days of shelf life, which is the difference between a profit and a loss when the track breaks down. My third pick is onion. I call them the stability asset. If pepper is your gasoline and tomato are your gamble, then onions are your bank account. Onions are the most defensive crop in Ghana. Why? Because they can wait. If the market price is too bad today, you don't throw onions away. You cure them, you store them, and you wait. In the 2026 budget, the government allocated money for buffer stock. They simply want to stabilize price, but you can be your own buffer stock. The strategy is pretty simple. Use varieties like the the Bima Shaki or the Red Pinot. These are Indian varieties. They handle heat and store well. The goal is you aren't looking for 10x returns here. You are looking for a steady 30 to 40% margin that protects you if tomato crop gets hit by disease. Now, if you think the opportunities in Ghana stop at tomatoes, onions, and peppers, you're already behind. Because smart investors in 2026 are quietly moving into two export crops that most people are ignoring. Before we get into that, consider subscribing to this channel and like the video to support my work. Now, my fourth pick is pineapple. This is not just farming, this is an export business. As of 2025, Ghana's pineapple sector showed its teeth. We exported over 4,000 shipments, generating roughly $30 million annually. The market isn't just there, it is proving and hungry for more. Here is where it gets interesting and where you can see the gap. While Ghana is doing 4,000 shipments, a country like Costa Rica is doing over 270,000 shipments in a year. People look at this and say, oh, we can't compete with them. They think 270,000 shipments is domination. I say that's not competition, that is a roadmap. Here is the twist most people miss. Look at the value in 2025. Ghana's pineapple sold for an average of $6,300 per ton. Meanwhile, Costa Rica, the global giant, was selling theirs at about $820 per ton. Do you see that? Do you see what I see? That means that Ghana is earning over 7 times more per ton than the biggest exporter in the world. Costa Rica is just playing the volume game. They are the Walmart of pineapple, but Ghana is playing the premium game. Our soil, our sugar content, that's the BRICS level, and our proximity to Europe means we aren't just selling fruit. We are selling a luxury product. When a buyer in London or Paris wants the best, they aren't looking at $800 a ton. They are looking at $6,000 a ton, Ghanaian premium. If you are thinking long term, if you want contracts that are paid in dollars or euros, and if you want to build a real company, pineapple is your crop. The system, the cold chain, the exporters, the sea freight route, it already exists. You don't have to invent it. You just need to scale into it. So how do we tie all this together? If I'm serious about making money in 2026, I don't bet on one horse. I build a portfolio. I call that the 2026 power portfolio. In this portfolio, I would have 40% pepper. That is my gasoline, fast cash, high turnover, keep the lights on. Then I invest 30% into onion. That is my stability. It's your hedge against market crashes. You can store it and wait. Then I'll invest 20% into pineapple, your export worth. This is your long-term play for foreign currency and high margin premiums. The other 10% is invested in the tomato, your tactical strike. You only play this when the Burkina Faso ban or off-season timing gives you that 5x return. This way, you aren't just a farmer praying for rain. You are a market operator. You make money when markets are good. You survive when they are bad, and you get wealthy when there is a crisis. Don't forget to check out videos. I've created videos on each and every crop that I mentioned in this video, from beginner level to pro level. Thank you for watching and subscribe. See you in the next video.